My ex insisted I was the father of her child and tried to shame me into taking responsibility, but when the DNA test results came back, the truth humiliated her in front of everyone. Hey Reddit, plus here. I can still recall the exact moment everything flipped. I was in the office break room, nursing a stale, half-cold coffee, when my phone buzzed. A text from my ex, Melissa. We hadn't talked much since our messy split almost a year earlier. I froze at the screen. 3 words stared back at me: we need to talk. My chest squeezed. I put the phone face down and tried to shrug it off. Melissa could be theatrical, and I wasn't in the mood for whatever storm she was brewing. But she didn't stop. The messages kept rolling in. It's important. Call me. You owe me this. Eventually, I caved. What's going on, Melissa? I asked, already irritated. I'm pregnant, she said. My heart jolted. And what does that have to do with me? I asked, trying not to sound panicked. She let the pause stretch. Then came the hit. It's yours, Jason. Melissa and I had ended things over a year ago after 3 intense, exhausting years. She was gorgeous, magnetic, impossible to ignore. But her jealousy, the need to control, the constant accusations about affairs that never happened, it smothered me. I finally walked away when it became clear the trust was gone for good. I was relieved to be out. And now she was telling me I had a baby on the way. I don't believe you, I said, attempting to keep my voice even. I'm not lying, Jason, she snapped. You're the only man I've been with. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet. At the cafe, she was already at a corner table, pale, hands wrapped tight around a lukewarm mug. I don't want anything from you, she said softly. I just thought you deserved to know. I can't do this alone. That tugged at me, but I kept a wall up. I asked for specifics, timelines, dates, anything that might make it add up. On paper, it seemed like it could be true. Still, something in me wouldn't settle. Over the next few weeks, Melissa kept me in the loop. She sent ultrasound photos and invited me to checkups. I went to one, sitting stiffly in a chair while the doctor chatted about progress and measurements. Melissa talked about co-parenting, how we could make a plan even if we weren't together. I nodded, but tiny cracks in her story started to show, little inconsistencies, details that shifted from one conversation to the next. One afternoon, I asked her straight out, Melissa, are you absolutely sure this baby is mine? Her expression hardened instantly. How dare you? She hissed. Do you think I'm some liar? I felt bad for even asking, but the unease wouldn't go away. I wanted to do the right thing. I also wanted the truth. Months later, the call came. She's here, Melissa whispered. Your daughter. I drove to the hospital with a knot in my stomach, juggling fear, hope, and doubt. Holding that tiny baby for the first time, my chest ached. She was small, beautiful, impossibly perfect. But as I watched her sleep, the doubts crept back in, quiet but persistent. I said nothing. For the next few weeks, I tried to step up. I bought diapers, onesies, a crib. I showed up with groceries, helped with late-night feedings, did what a new dad should. But the questions didn't let go. Every time I looked at her, the nagging voice got louder. Finally, I decided I couldn't just push it down anymore. We need a paternity test, I told Melissa. She exploded. You're insulting me, and your daughter. If there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to worry about, I said, trying to keep it calm. She stalled, argued, called me cold. Eventually, reluctantly, she agreed. When the envelope arrived, my hands shook as I tore it open. My eyes raced down the page until they landed on the line that mattered. Not a match. The words felt like a slap and a release at the same time. Relief flooded me, followed fast by a hot wave of anger. I went to Melissa's place immediately. She denied it at first, scrambling for explanations, her voice rising and breaking. When I handed her the paper, the fight drained out of her. She crumpled, sobbing. I didn't know, she said. I really thought you were the father. Who is the father, Melissa? I asked. Her face flushed, and she wouldn't answer. She stared at the floor, shaking, refusing to meet my eyes. I left feeling both vindicated and strangely hollow. It didn't take long for the story to spread. Small towns have quick tongues, And Melissa's lie got out. People weren't gentle. She became the woman who tried to pin a baby on her ex. She kept her head down, avoided places she used to love, and the whispers followed anyway. As for me, the whole ordeal changed something. I learned to listen to the gut feeling I'd tried to bury. I learned that standing up for myself doesn't make me cruel, it makes me honest. It also reminded me how messy people can be when they're scared. None of that excused what she did. Melissa reached out a few times after that. She apologized, said she'd been confused and overwhelmed, that she wasn't thinking clearly. She asked for forgiveness. I didn't have it in me to give. I wished her well, but I kept my distance. The line had been crossed, and I couldn't uncross it. I still think about that baby sometimes. None of this was her fault. She didn't ask to be born into drama or to be a symbol of anyone's mistakes. If anything, she reminded me that truth matters, even when it's painful, and that responsibility without certainty can break you. I wanted to be the man who showed up. I also needed to be the man who asked for proof. Looking back, I can see how easily I could have let guilt or pressure make my choices for me. I could have stayed quiet, gone along with it, and built a life on a lie. Instead, I made a call that cost me peace in the short term but saved me in the long run. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't heroic. It was necessary. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't leaving a toxic relationship, it's refusing to be dragged back into it under the weight of someone else's fear. I walked away once for a reason. This time, I walked away with clarity. And I don't regret it.